A doctor suddenly lost his position. A crucial file vanished, and a full medical evaluation was reduced down to only two cold, simple words: pneumonia. But what actually happened behind those closed doors? What did that physician truly discover inside Diane Keaton's body? And why did he say, "This truth will haunt the world forever"? Before we begin this journey to explore the final mystery surrounding Diane Keaton's story, prepare yourself, because what you're about to hear may leave a chill running down your spine. In the lower levels of Cedars-Sinai Hospital, the morgue sat in complete stillness, illuminated only by the harsh fluorescent light reflecting off a stainless steel table, and on that table, a body rested beneath a white sheet. No one realized that within moments, that silence would shatter, along with a mystery the world was never prepared to face. Comment 1 if you feel compassion for Diane Keaton, or 0 if you see it differently. And if you're ready to step into this story, hit like and subscribe, because we're about to uncover every chilling detail hidden beneath that sheet. Doctors described Diane Keaton's body as always teetering between recovery and decline, between life and collapse. Those who saw her in her final years echoed the same observation. Diane had changed. In photographs taken at her Los Angeles home, her skin appeared nearly translucent, pale, catching the light like silver foil. Her manager noted that she wore gloves even indoors, as if the air itself could harm her skin. A UCLA dermatologist, reviewing the images, suggested the reaction was consistent with extreme light sensitivity, a known response in certain immune system conditions following prolonged ultraviolet exposure. Yet the story didn't end with her skin. In her memoir, Then Again, Keaton revealed that at 25, she had battled bulimia, a silent disorder that slowly ravaged her body. "I ate to fill the emptiness, then punished myself," she wrote. For 5 years, she lived in a hidden cycle of guilt behind the glamour of Annie Hall. While Hollywood celebrated thinness, Keaton became one of the first voices to speak openly about that fear. Bulimia doesn't just affect teeth or the stomach. It can leave lasting marks on the nervous and immune systems. An aging specialist at UCLA explained in Los Angeles Medical Review, individuals with a history of bulimia may experience faster physical decline when facing respiratory illnesses. They often respond poorly to antibiotics and are at higher risk for lung complications. Public medical records show that in 2023, Diane was briefly hospitalized for chronic acute bronchitis, yet she recovered far more quickly than expected. In the months that followed, her breathing gradually weakened, and she began using supplemental oxygen at night. Still, at film premieres and fashion events, she appeared radiant, occasionally coughing but deftly avoiding questions about her health. "Just a slight cold," she would say, offering a tight-lipped smile. During the autopsy, her lungs revealed small lesions and dilated blood vessels, subtle signs of tissue repeatedly damaged and in the process of healing. One doctor later remarked, "Her body seemed to have been fighting for too long, not just against illness, but against itself." While the official report listed pneumonia as the cause of death, no one who examined her lungs believed that infection alone had been fatal. It was as if her body had exhausted itself, like a machine pushed beyond its limits for half a century. The most striking detail appeared at the end of the preliminary report. A sample from the right middle lobe was annotated with a brief line: "Unidentified clusters of abnormal cells." These words never appeared in public records. They only emerged through a leaked screenshot circulating among hospital staff. A lab technician later revealed that the sample had vanished from the system just 3 days after it was logged. No copy, no signature. CBS News cited an anonymous source reporting that the supervising pathologist voluntarily resigned that same weekend. When reached for comment, he responded briefly via email. "Some bodily reactions cannot be described medically. I am not authorized to discuss further. Experts later told Vanity Fair that the unusual cell clusters could suggest an extremely rare autoimmune condition in which lung cells restructure their genetic sequences, making them unrecognizable to the immune system. Similar phenomena had been documented in studies at Stanford, but never in elderly patients. Strangely, when questioned, Cedars-Sinai representatives insisted that no sample had been lost, yet they refused to provide storage codes. In medicine, such silence can be far more unsettling than any explanation. A doctor familiar with Diane quietly told Vanity Fair, "Her body reacted as if it was still resisting, as if it didn't want to stop." The words left the room in stunned silence. The deeper they delved into her medical records, the more apparent it became. Diane Keaton's body hadn't simply succumbed naturally. It had fought. It had tried to renew itself, to persist in ways that no one could fully comprehend. With her complex medical history spanning skin cancer, unusual immune responses, and long-hidden disorders, Diane Keaton's passing was anything but straightforward. It became an unsolved puzzle in medicine, a cascade of mysterious biological reactions that could be observed but not fully explained. Some doctors argued it was simply the result of old age. Yet within the missing records and sealed tissue samples, something deeper lingered. Something that led many to believe Diane Keaton's death wasn't merely caused by illness, but that her body itself orchestrated an ending no one could decipher. And from those unanswered questions, new theories and hypotheses began to emerge. From UCLA's laboratories to whispered conversations echoing through the halls of Los Angeles hospitals, speculation swirled about what truly happened inside Diane Keaton's body. These were hypotheses no one dared voice openly. After the autopsy, Cedars-Sinai remained entirely silent. No statements, no press conferences, no additional notes appended to her medical records. 3 days later, every newspaper printed the same line word for word. Cause of death, bacterial pneumonia. A neat, concise conclusion, as if everything that had unfolded was nothing more than an administrative formality. But within Los Angeles's medical community, that silence felt colder than the news of her passing. A doctor involved in the tissue analysis quietly told The Guardian, "The signs on her body don't match ordinary pneumonia. There's something else, something beyond typical medical description." Those faint words, easily drowned out by obituary headlines, sparked unspoken theories among those who had glimpsed Keaton's records. Slowly, whispers began to circulate through hospital corridors and coffee shops near Beverly Grove. 3 theories emerged, like 3 puzzle pieces no one dared to put together. The first theory centers on a slow autoimmune reaction, an extremely rare disorder in which the immune system turns on the body itself. According to a leaked UCLA lab report, in her final days, Diane Keaton displayed signs resembling a condition known as autoimmune pulmonary necrosis, where the lungs are damaged from within without any presence of bacteria or viruses. In theory, her lung tissue may have been attacked by her own white blood cells, leading to rapid respiratory failure without any external infection. This condition is exceptionally rare and can occur when the immune system becomes uncontrolled, targeting the body's own cells, particularly the lungs, instead of protecting them. Do you think a rare autoimmune reaction could explain the mysterious death of Diane Keaton? Comment 1 if you agree, or 0 if you think another explanation is more likely. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join us as we explore medical mysteries that have never been revealed. This kind of damage often goes unnoticed at first, because early symptoms can mimic common illnesses like pneumonia, leading to misdiagnosis. Experts suggest that while Diane Keaton showed no clear signs of external infection, physiological indicators such as rapid respiratory decline and unusual changes in tissue cells pointed to an abnormal process within her body. Doctors note that once the body begins to attack itself, natural defense mechanisms can spiral into disorder, causing irreversible damage to vital organs. This is more than a medical event. It is a situation where the immune system no longer recognizes its own cells as part of the body. A medical resident told Variety Health that Diane collapsed suddenly, without any warning signs. Prior to the event, she showed no symptoms of fever, pain, swelling, or visible skin abnormalities. Her vital signs plummeted abruptly, leaving doctors with almost no time to intervene. Remarkably, during the final 24 hours of her life, Diane remained fully conscious and mentally alert. She continued conversing with those around her, reading news updates on her iPad, and even smiled while rewatching an old interview of herself, creating the impression that everything was perfectly normal right up to the very end. However, Diane's condition deteriorated rapidly soon after. Her blood oxygen levels plummeted, her pulse weakened, and her heartbeat became irregular. Despite all efforts to stabilize her, the sudden systemic collapse proved irreversible. Many experts later suggested that this chain reaction could have been the cumulative effect of decades of intensive medical treatments, strict dietary regimens, prolonged exposure to bright lights, and the use of immune-stimulating medications. According to them, these combined factors may have gradually overwhelmed Diane's body, ultimately culminating in its complete breakdown during her final moments. A UCLA researcher remarked, "Her body seemed like a system that had fought for too long. That defense mechanism had once protected her from illness, but eventually it turned inward and destroyed everything." The final photos of Diane, taken at her Beverly Hills home in September 2025, became images no one wanted to revisit. Her face appeared gaunt, her skin thin and fragile like paper, her eyes deeply sunken. It was hardly the look of someone suffering from pneumonia alone. A respiratory specialist noted that this was the typical appearance of a terminal immunocompromised patient, the body weakened, yet the mind painfully alert. The second theory reaches back 40 years, to when Diane Keaton was at the height of her career and still believed that light itself could heal. In 1981, Diane underwent phototherapy for basal cell carcinoma, an experimental treatment at the time, hailed in Hollywood as an aesthetic breakthrough. Records from the California Dermatology Institute indicate she completed at least 7 high-intensity ultraviolet sessions over 2 years. Each time, she lay still beneath the green and white lights, her skin coated in a specialized photosensitive solution, her body heating under the treatment. A treating physician later told Los Angeles Medical Review, "She reacted intensely from the very first session. Her skin turned bright red, blistered even, yet she insisted on continuing. She said, 'If it can save me from scars, I can bear it.'" In the public eye, she had recovered, but the impact on her body was far more complex. However, the light treatment acted like a double-edged sword, leaving subtle genetic changes that could not be measured at the time. More than 40 years later, a research team at Stanford identified a phenomenon called photomutation, a form of DNA disruption caused by cumulative ultraviolet exposure in tissue, capable of spreading through the bloodstream to other organs, including the lungs. Coincidentally, Diane had participated in a UCLA study examining immune system changes in patients with a history of skin cancer, a report that was never published. An anonymous pathology technician told NBC News, "Her lung cells reacted like skin tissue exposed to light, as if her body remembered the exposure." This seemingly impossible detail oddly corresponded with the autopsy findings. Her lung tissue faintly glowed under blue light, a phenomenon doctors described as bioluminescence, a photochemical reaction still active in her cells. If accurate, it suggested that light, which had once saved Diane Keaton, may have literally returned to touch her final breath. The final theory, perhaps the most plausible, yet hardest to prove, involves drug metabolism. Cedars-Sinai's treatment records indicate that Diane was prescribed a broad-spectrum antibiotic in her last week, yet blood tests revealed an extremely low concentration of the drug, almost negligible. Experts suggest this could have been a direct consequence of a digestive disorder she had suffered from during her 20s, affecting how her body absorbed medication even decades later.